You're tuned in to Nerd Overload, your weekly show for video games, movies, TV shows, comics, tech news, and more. Sponsored in part by MB Subculture Comics and Costumes. Now your hosts, Cody Pinnick, Samantha Cross, Sam Dunham, and Josh Harrison. Hey everybody, welcome to Nerd Overload, the pop and geek culture show where two's company and three's a crowd. I'm Sam.
I'm Cody.
And that's it!
Yeah.
Just Sam and Cody this week. Thank you all for tuning in. We have a bunch of news for you, as always. But first, let's talk about some things we've been checking out this week. Cody? Putting you on the spot.
Yeah. Well, where do we want to start? Because we have two things that we both checked out. Yeah. You know what? Let's go ahead and do that. Okay.
You know what? Let's talk about Kirby first. So the Nintendo game Kirby Star Allies was released last Friday, and
the newest in the long-standing franchise of pink inhaling man.
Yeah, the little marshmallow boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and picked it up, and it's really fun. I really enjoy it. I've been kind of blasting through it, which you kind of do with a Kirby game because they're incredibly easy.
Oh yeah, it's not difficult. Which I would never fault a Kirby game for not being difficult. That's not what it's about.
No, and I mean Kirby games, they're not difficult. I wouldn't say they're like just strictly for kids because they're all ages. It's like the definition of all ages game. It's just the difficulty is low enough to where it's like you're never going to play it and get mad at playing a Kirby game.
And the controls are complex enough. Every power up you get has like a whole series of special moves you can do with it.
Oh, you're basically like Smash Brothers Kirby at points, with the tilt moves and stuff like that. So what's the story this time with Kirby? Because there's always like a very bare bones kind of story, but there is one.
There's like some evil heart in space breaks and makes bad guys happen,
I guess.
That's all. And there's like some sort of group of wizards or something that are trying to get these hearts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, that's as far as I've gotten story wise. I think I'm only like a couple levels further in it than you are.
Okay, yeah, it's fun. It's again it's the barest of like story plot lines, but the mechanics are interesting, and Kirby games, they always like to add something new.
Yeah, there's always a twist.
Yeah, and this twist is you can kind of befriend or ensnare like certain enemy types that would normally give you a power up if you inhale the character, and actually turn them into like your four-party kind of team.
Yeah.
And sometimes they can be AI controlled, or you can actually do
you can
player controlled.
You can, the other person can play as them, and also you can piggyback on them to take control of them.
Oh yeah, see, I haven't tried that yet.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, cool, but it's fun. The AI on the team members, I guess, is smart for the most part. It's a little frustrating when it comes to if you're trying to pick up an ability for yourself. A lot of times the team will kind of attack it super quick.
And they make the game even easier.
They make it really easy. Yeah, that's very true.
And it's kind of like it really takes the wind out of your sails when they get the final hit on like a boss. It's like, good job. I would have liked to have done that.
Yeah, that's very true. That is very true. But
they almost play the game for you
at points.
A little too much.
Yeah, at points. The areas where like they split like the level and like into teams of two, and they have to kind of
that's smart.
I like that,
and I wish it did that more.
I agree with you there.
That's interesting level design, and makes good use of the gimmick.
Yeah, and there are a couple of power-ups or team members, I guess you can use them either or, that are kind of unique to this game. Like I think this is like the first time you can get the paintbrush.
Yeah, and that one's very cool.
I like that one a lot. And the cook one, because the cook one just flat doesn't fight if he's your team member. He just spits out health every once in a while.
That one has been in Kirby before, but it's been gone for a while, and now it's back.
Really? And that seems to be kind of a theme for this game, because they're a lot of the collectibles, because this Kirby games are always huge, like collectathons. A lot of the collectibles are like puzzle pieces to make like pictures that reference back to the previous games. I think I've completed 2 out of the however many puzzles there are. I think there's like 5 or 6 or whatever.
Yeah, and they're all done by different Japanese artists, I guess. I don't recognize any of them, but that's not really a thing I pay attention to. But it's cool that it's different artists' take on Kirby.
Yeah, it's really cool, and I like any game that will reference Kirby 64 is a good game to me. And this game references it in multiple ways. The other mechanic that has come back is the kind of mixing of abilities, which was very much like Kirby 64. In this one, if you have like the sword ability and one of your teammates has like fire powers or whatever, they'll breathe on your sword and it'll turn into a fire sword until you swap it. Yeah, and that's really cool. That's a really, really neat mechanic.
Or
I like
if
that a lot.
one person has water power and the other has ice, you can turn into a curling stone and blast through the stage.
I like that one a lot as well. Some of them are a little repetitive. The like the fighter and the rhino beetle power are the same thing. They just pick up your teammate and throw them.
Yeah,
that's all it is. But I'm having fun with it. I get mad at video games very easily, and because of that, I immensely enjoy Kirby because you will never
make you mad.
ever get mad at playing Kirby ever.
I was really into it in the first 2 worlds, maybe, but now that I'm into the third one, it's starting to drag a little bit. I think they've run out of things to do.
Yeah,
and it might get better. I might just be in the doldrums of it. I don't know.
Yeah. Now, I will say I'm kind of starting to get there as well. I'm going to finish the game. I'm going to 100% it because I'm a maniac and I do that. But like, it's going to need something at the final level again, like Kirby 64. Did you ever play Kirby 64?
Yeah, but I don't remember how it ends.
If you get 100% of the little black star shards, you have a boss beyond the final boss where it turns into a railgun shooter essentially.
Oh yeah, they do that a lot in Kirby games actually. I think Robobot had something. It turned into Star Fox at the end.
Yeah, and it was something very similar to that in 64. And I'm hoping we get something like that here. There are some like team up abilities that you get in the game as well. That's pretty neat. Like he gets basically the Kirby Air Ride like star that you can fly around on, kinda.
Yeah,
sorta.
that was kind of cool. I didn't change things enough.
Not enough, but it was different. It was different enough the first time you jump onto it. It's like, oh hey, this is different. But then yeah, I agree with that.
I like the train.
I was just gonna bring up the train. was pretty clever.
Runs on constantly forward and runs up walls.
The worst one is the one where it's the bridge and then you have the one little guy that runs across with the key.
Then it's kind of a puzzle that's not hard.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to make a puzzle, but it's so easy. You just there's nothing to it. But yeah, it's a lot for a Kirby game. It's a full price game.
Yeah. See, I didn't pay. I gameflied it because I didn't want to pay $60 for it.
Yeah, I'm a mark for Kirby games, and I don't have a ton of games for the Switch to begin with, so I figure I might as well get this one. Plus, Kirby games you can resell them for a pretty decent price.
Well, yeah, first party Nintendo games never go down in price.
They never go down. Yeah, so I don't know. I'd still say pick it up. There are enough little things, and then there are bonus levels and bonus games outside of the main storyline.
Yeah, that's another thing you always get with Kirby games is a decent amount of mini games alongside. And
like all Kirby games, the quality of those games are varying.
Yeah.
They vary widely.
Also, it looks great. It's a really good looking game.
It does look really, really good. It's really crisp and clean.
This is the first high def Kirby game that they've done. And it looks really nice. Mm-hmm. The character designs on those like the bad general magic,
whatever they are.
I don't know what they are yet, but they have really fun character designs that I like.
Yeah, they're very cool. I actually kind of like how you can unlock like a little pagoda that gives you roulette for the special, like the name characters as your teammates.
The legacy characters, I think, is like what a businessman in a suit would call them.
Probably, yeah. Well, I've always liked King Dedede.
Yeah, he's always been my favorite Kirby character, actually.
Yeah, and I liked the boss battles against those characters because they at least tried to do something a little different with those characters.
With the muscle arms DDD.
Yeah, that was nuts. That came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and he's got that pile of like rotten fruit next to him, and he keeps throwing rotten fruit at you.
Yeah, yeah. They had that, and then the Meta Knight fight was pretty. That was pretty baller. That was pretty great. I enjoyed that quite a bit. Did the Waddle Dee have a boss fighter?
No.
Did you just get that one?
You just get that one.
Okay. Cool, I guess.
It helped me realize why Kirby Superstar is the best Kirby game.
Okay.
And it's because it is a series of small Kirby games.
Mm.
So by the time you get bored of whatever the one game is doing, you're done and it's a different one.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
That's why that's the best one, because it keeps it interesting the whole way through by switching it up so much.
Gotcha. Yeah, I guess I could kind of see that. I'm still enjoying the story mode for now. I'm guessing I'm on the 4th world. I think there's probably like 5 or 6 if I had to take a guess.
I think I read there's 6.
6. Okay, that seemed about right. And
I like how they handle the map screen too, where you can move around.
I like that a lot.
Everywhere.
There's hidden stuff in there every once in a while. You kind of collect some extra stars or whatever. That's fun. That's cool. Kirby games are just about fun. You just kind of go and chill. It's not like there's anything super stressful or super pressing with them. You just kind of pop in, play a couple levels, and you pop back out. Whatever. It's fun. But no. Anyway, beyond that, the other thing that the both of us checked out was the season opener for the Ohio Roller Derby down in Columbus last weekend. And, oh boy, that was a blast.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
It always is cool. I've gone to a whole bunch of these, and it's always a good time.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I haven't been to as many roller derby matches, although I've been to a few, and it took me a little bit to kind of remember the rules, like the scoring rules and stuff like that. That always kind of trips me a little bit. But no, it was a blast going down there. It was held at the Ohio Expo Center this year.
In the Ohio building, which is like this little round.
Yeah. It's usually where the butter cow is.
Is
right?
it?
Yeah, I think that's where the butter cow is.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I know, it's been a long time since I've been to the state fair.
Well, it's been a long time since they've had a band there that's worth seeing.
Oh, yeah.
That's the whole point of going to the state fair, at least, for us,
yeah.
really. But
no, unless you want to see Jeff Dunham and his racist puppet cavalcade.
Yeah, no, I think I'm good. I think I'm good.
Which is part of the lineup again this year.
Why not? I mean, play towards your audience, I guess. I don't know.
Go see Reba McEntire and the racist puppet man.
Cousin Jeff, let me tell you. No,
I always knew he wasn't right.
Yeah. No, anyway, the roller derby match was a lot of fun. They were playing, was it Minneapolis? Was the team?
Minnesota. Somewhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that Midwestern area.
Yeah. But no, it was a lot of fun. The first game was a blowout.
Oh yeah. Ohio.
The All-Stars, the main team really just absolutely rocked them.
By like 100 points or something.
Yeah, like 100. It's like 150 points. Like, we knew after the first half, it was like, no, this is. I think I started messing around on my phone a little bit because, like, I don't know how they're gonna come back from that.
Yeah.
But the second game was a lot closer, and unfortunately, the gangrene, the kind of the development, kind of the I don't want to say lower tier, but like the
ones that don't play on the main team.
Right. Yeah, that's it. It was a little closer. They didn't win, unfortunately, but it was the much better game, I thought.
Yeah, it was more exciting because it was close.
It was really close.
Ohio kept catching back up and being like within 4 or 5 points from taking the lead, and then it would go back and forth like that the whole game.
Yeah, yeah. One thing I will say about the whole setup in there, they need to figure out their like how to do lines and like for like tickets and things like that. That was kind of a nightmare trying to get into that place.
Oh yeah. They had a will call line and buy your tickets at the door line, and I didn't buy my tickets beforehand.
Neither
I got
did
them there, and I just walked right up and got tickets right away.
Oh, that's...
While the people in the will call line were like still waiting.
That's wild. I came in right as the game was starting, so I was like the peak line, and it seemed at one point that both the will call and it's like they had two lines and then they intersected and were the same line for a while and then split back apart. And it was it was a nightmare trying to get that.
And I never did get my big pretzel.
You didn't get that big pretzel. I did have my my not so cheap hot dog. But they were good hot dogs. Let me tell you, delicious. But no.
But the line for concessions more often than not wrapped back and forth down that little room forever. Yeah. I mean, it was St. Patrick's Day, so I'm sure it was a lot of people beering it up.
Well, yeah.
But I wanted my big pretzel, darn it. Love big pretzels.
Yeah. Did Samantha and that was Samantha's mom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they both enjoy the game?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. Right on.
That was the first time her mom had ever been to one. And
really?
She seemed to have a good time.
Well, good. That's excellent. Yeah.
So yay roller derby.
Yay roller derby.
Everybody has a good time. Go check it out. Support your local roller derby team.
Yeah, next game's in a couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah, it's April something.
7th. April 7th.
Good. Yep. I was going to say, we probably should know that.
Yep. I'm definitely going back to the next one, for sure. I mean...
Oh, yeah, we probably will, too, depending on work schedules.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. But no, it's a lot of fun. I would definitely suggest anyone go and check out a roller derby game. It's a blast. And the rules, while it's a little non-standard to like most sports,
they do takes a couple minutes.
Yeah,
job explaining it before the game starts.
Yeah, they do a good job. And then in the programs and the flyers, they have the descriptions of the rules, and you watch it for about 5 minutes, and you go, oh, okay, I think I get it. A lot of hard hits.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty great.
Those ladies are tough.
Yes, they are.
Let's see. In other check it out news, I've been playing Yakuza 6, which is the newest Yakuza game that comes out sometime in April. I think probably April 7th too. I don't know.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
But I have a review copy of it that I've been working my way through, and not quite at the point where I want to write the review yet.
Okay.
But I've played a good portion of it, and it's very good. Very similar to the other games where you walk around and beat people up on the streets of Tokyo.
That's cool. Now, I don't have much of a background with the Yakuza games, but from the things that I've seen about this one and actually the last, what was it, Zero or Kiwami or whatever?
Yeah, well, Kiwami was technically the last one that came out, but it was a remake of 1.
Okay.
And 0 was the prequel to 1.
Gotcha. That's not confusing at all.
No.
But no, it actually looks like to me, the story is like almost secondary to like all of the crazy fun side quests that you do.
Yeah, it really, like, there's so much other stuff you can do at any given time. Like, the story's always good and full of twists and turns.
And it's always kind of serious and kind of...
Yeah.
For the most part. But, like, the side quests look like just crazy, dumb fun.
Oh, they're all silly. Like, half the time it's a reference to an anime or something else. Just entirely weird. Like, one of the good ones in Yakuza 0 was there was a punk band that didn't know how to be punks. And you had to kind of help them along and help them learn how they should act to make their band work.
Oh, that's great.
Because they're all just a bunch of nice boys.
Oh, that's great.
I haven't done a whole lot of side quests in 6. Like, the 2 that I have done have seriously just been references to famous anime.
Oh, really?
There's one that was kind of like a Freaky Friday, Your Name kind of thing,
really?
where a boy and girl switch bodies.
Wow, okay.
And another one was just a direct reference to The Girl Who Leapt Through Time.
Oh, interesting. I've the one stream that I watched that Polygon did, there was one that they started that was basically just Neko Atsume, where you just go around as you're playing the game and you find cats to go to this cat cafe.
Oh, yeah. You have to carry around different kinds of tuna.
Yeah.
So you can befriend the cats with the kind of tuna that they like.
Right.
And then they go into the cat cafe and you expand the cat cafe.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting sub-quest.
Yeah. I also saw that, was it Tekken, one of the Tekken games?
Virtua Fighter.
Virtua Fighter, that's what it is.
Virtua Fighter, I think 5?
Okay, yeah.
I played that for a good bit, actually. I played all the way through it.
Nice.
It's a good Virtua Fighter.
It's
and it's
just
like
in there in its entirety.
Yeah, the arcade version.
Yeah, that's awesome.
There's Puyo Puyo in there too.
Cool.
You can play that, which I don't really care for Puyo Puyo.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And there's a bunch of classic Sega arcade games. There's Fantasy Zone and Outrun.
Nice. I think I saw Outrun was on there as well. So yeah, that's
Space
cool.
Harrier.
Cool.
And then there's just stuff like darts. You can play darts.
Okay, right on.
There's you can live chat with cam girls.
Oh, great!
Which is awkward.
I imagine.
And it's real video of real women, and there's a mini game where you tap the buttons to say the responses during the chat.
Really?
Yeah.
That's something.
And it's like equal parts like semi-pornographic and funny, because the stuff going on in the chat and like the fake people in the chat room are funny.
Oh, okay.
It's a weird feature to have.
That is a weird one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear about any of that stuff about the how it was like accidentally leaked or something?
Oh yeah.
I heard about something, and I don't follow like development stuff close enough to where I catch like all the details.
There was a free demo that came out, but the demo was accidentally just the full game.
Yeah, from what I have heard, it's like it's the folks who were charged with like making the demo were just supposed to put like a lock. It's like easier to just put like a hard lock on this like story progression on the full game than actually chop out like whole sections of the game.
Yeah, and that way when you buy the whole game, you don't have to download it again.
Yeah, that too.
Because it's like a pretty hefty download.
Mm-hmm. So then they accidentally just put the one without the locks on it.
Yeah. So anybody who downloaded the demo within like this small window before they realized that they had done messed up, got the whole game there for a little bit.
Yeah. Now it's been rolled back from what I understand. As soon as you go online with it, like with that demo, it pretty much locks it out.
Yeah. Well, and the demo wasn't available there until just recently they put it back up.
Yeah. And but the people who did get it, I've heard there were some people who like basically blew through the game for free.
Yeah, or if you just disconnect from the internet after you've downloaded it.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I guess you could do that too. Sure.
Through the whole thing.
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't really, I don't think there's online functions really. You might be able to play some of the mini games online. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that.
And that's kind of a bummer because, you know, the Yakuza games are pretty big over in Japan, but they're not huge over here, are they?
They've been getting they've been getting bigger since Zero. Zero did really well.
Right. But like they're still small enough to where this could really hurt the franchise.
Yeah.
On the American market.
But
at least that's the perception I see. Now, then again, I don't follow this stuff super close.
But it's definitely been blowing up lately. You see a lot of memes and whatnot, and people talking about it more now than ever before. It's definitely become part of the video game consciousness more than it was before, which is good because they're fantastic games. Just like Monster, it's very similar with Monster Hunter.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's a good comparison.
Monster Hunter was not a big deal until recently. Until I think the last DS one started picking it up a little bit. People started getting into it, I think, then. But now that World has come out, it's really blown up. I think it's been a top seller for Capcom.
Sure, and that's great. Did you hear they're putting Dante into Monster Hunter Worlds?
Yeah.
So the joke featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series is actually applicable in this game now.
Well, they put Ryu in it too.
Yeah, but his armor, I guess, is really bad. It's like low tier, like pre finish the game, like And Sakura's in it as well,
But
and her Street Fighter V character.
But you can punch dragons. So.
Yeah, and that is pretty. I mean, yeah, that is pretty cool. I mean, I'd like to punch a dragon. Just once. It's probably the only chance I'd get. But yeah. I could talk about something real quick. Have I ever talked about Samurai Cop on the show?
I maybe.
Maybe. Well, I'll talk about it again real quick for the new listeners. I don't know
That we have.
Yeah. So for any new listeners that we have, hi, how you doing? Welcome to the show. I enjoy bad movies, and I will talk about them nonstop. And recently, I rewatched one of my favorite bad movies, Samurai Cop, which
is that the head on the piano one?
That is the head on the piano one. Yes. Yeah, it's starring a guy named Matt Hannon, although that's not his real name. And Robert Zadar, which that is definitely not his real name. No, it's not actually.
Oh, it's not.
Nope. His last name's Zdarsky.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. The whole joke is at one convention he took Chip Zdarsky, the comic writer and artist, aside and was so excited to meet another Zdarsky, and Chip had to break it to him that that's a nom de plume. His real name's like Tom Smith or something like that.
Jeff something.
It's like Jeff
or,
something. Yeah, right. But no. Anyway, Samurai Cop is a terrible take on like a buddy cop movie. That's also like a kung fu action movie, kind of, shot through the lens of this like Armenian film director that didn't really understand, like loved American action films but didn't understand how they worked. So, and all of the dialogue was like, oh, it sounds like it's been run through Google Translate. Like there's just some weird like sentence structure in there. But basically there's the Japanese katana gang is trying to close in on all the other gangs in California City, I guess.
Californiaville.
And they the police department hires Joe Marshall, the samurai, who is also a cop, to stop.
Hence Samurai Cop.
He's a samurai cop. And did you know the katana gang? Katana means Japanese sword. That is actually line from the movie. That's a line. That's dialogue. That is supposed to be delivered with a straight face. And I've watched a lot of interviews with Matt Hannon after the fact, and with some of the other cast and crew after the fact. And all of the actors in the film knew that it was terrible. It was a bad movie they were working on. They just figured they would do it and it would never be seen again. Unfortunately, it was. Or fortunately, I guess it was. But you can actually see where the main character, Joe Marshall, is he's like mugging at the camera. Or like you can see where the hard cuts from like scene to scene, and you can see him like look over and kind of shrug over at the camera, like Jim Halpert style from The Office. One of my favorite bits. They filmed the film all the way. They shot the film all the way through, and he was told, "Okay, go and do whatever." Well, in the film, Joe Marshall has this long black hair. As soon as they stopped filming, the actor cut all of his hair off, and the director, Amir Shirvan, contacted him like a week later saying, "Hey, we need to pick up like shots and do like 2 weeks more of shooting because I didn't shoot enough because I'm a bad director." And he's like, "Okay, great. I cut all my hair off." So there are a lot of scenes where if Samurai Cop's wearing like a ball cap with his long hair, that's a wig. And that's not just any wig, that's a woman's wig. In fact, there's a fight scene in which the wig falls clean off on screen, and you see him pick it up, and it cuts. This movie was shot, and it's not supposed to be a comedy. It's supposed to be a straight up action film. Like, it was supposed to be shot like super straight. And those are the best kind of bad movies, are the ones where they aren't like super like winky at the camera. Like your Sharknadoes. I mean, there's a certain level of fun to be had with the Sharknado films, but those are bad movies that were shot to be like, oh, look how bad we're being. Look how bad this is.
Yeah, they're not genuine.
Yeah, you need to be genuine to make a bad movie great. That's why The Room is so good. That's why Birdemic. Have you ever seen Birdemic?
Oh yeah, I've seen Birdemic.
Oh my God, Birdemic is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always get Samurai Cop mixed up with Miami Connection because they both kind of came
tough.
out at similar.
The Miami Connection shot and set in Orlando because that's Miami, where the band Dragon Sound fights against the ninjas and their stupid drugs.
My father.
That's my father. Well, okay, we need to take a break because otherwise we're just going to sit here and quote like Miami Connection. So let's go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we'll get into a little bit of news. Nerd Overload is sponsored in part by MB Subculture Comics and Costumes. MB Subculture is the one-stop shop for all your geeky needs, from comics and collectibles to unique custom costumes, masks, makeup, and more. MB Subculture is located at 122 West Rensselaer Street in downtown Bucyrus, 567-806-5364, and online at subcultureoh.com. Hey, welcome back to My Two Dads, the sequel. That was American Pie by Don Mclean.
I like to think we're more like the weird uncles.
We are the weird uncles, yes. Yeah.
Two weird uncles. Let me tell you about comic books. I'm your weird uncle. Let's talk about Kirby for 20 minutes.
Yeah. We're Weird Uncle Comics and Weird Uncle Video Games.
Yeah.
That's us. That's the two of us.
Now, when I was your age, we had 2 Castlevanias.
Yeah. And we had to play them on our wood-hewn Game Boys.
Yeah.
And we had to crank while we're playing it. Steam-powered.
We only had 8 bits, and we liked it.
Yeah, that's right. Only 8. We had to count them. And they shifted around.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into a little bit of news here.
We couldn't touch the screens. That's just, we'd get fingerprints on them.
Yeah, just smudge them up. All right, so first and foremost, there was a new trailer that dropped for Deadpool 2. This was like a day or two ago. And it's very much more of a like a story trailer instead of the jokey ones.
It's actually a legitimate trailer for the film.
Trailer. Yeah. And it looks really good.
Yeah, looks like more good Deadpool stuff like the first movie.
I'll be honest, I was a little worried about Deadpool 2, just a tiny bit.
I mean, it's a big act to follow. The first one was a really good movie.
And I was kind of worried that Fox would take like the wrong things from Deadpool 1 and like say, okay, we need to like everything cranked up to 11.
Yeah.
Oh man, super edgy, super extreme.
Throw in all the money in the chimichanga jokes.
Yeah, and it looks like it is, I don't want to say restrained, but like it looks like it is on par, like wacky wise, with Deadpool 1, which is perfect. That's like the sweet spot. It's really good.
A lot of cool looking new characters in there.
Yes, they've added a lot of new characters, and we're getting almost all returning main characters as well, including Mohinder or Dopinder, the cab driver.
Yeah.
That was a character I really didn't think was going to come back.
And it's a very funny running gag to have him show up again.
It really is. Yeah. Yeah.
And now he's like buddies with Deadpool.
He's like part of the team basically. Yeah. I like the explanation for X-Force in this. It's just Deadpool like ripping off the X-Men. Yeah. That's his whole idea of it. That's really clever and really good.
Domino looks rad.
Domino looks super rad. I didn't know Terry Crews was in this film. I was very surprised by that. I don't think
anybody did till the trailer came out, actually.
Yeah, that was a big old surprise. I'm not. We looked up the name of the character he's playing. The character's name is Bedlam. I'm sure it's a pre-established mutant, but I can't tell you anything about the character.
Terry is very excited about this.
Oh, I'm sure he is just thrilled. Honestly, yeah. I mean, at this point, he was going to end up a superhero in a superhero film somewhere.
He honestly deserves a bigger name than this, but
he does. But I think his kind of the comedy that he brings to the table and like the like crazy like enthusiasm to everything he brings fits well within the Deadpool movies. I think that's like a good fit for him. I wish he were. I wish he was. What's his name? The other black X-Men from the future.
Oh, I can't remember his name either, but I know who you're talking about.
It's Cable's one of the ones from the future, which is in this film, and Bishop.
Yeah, Bishop.
Bishop.
Yep.
That's the one.
That is his name.
Yeah.
It was right on the tip of my tongue, and I just couldn't.
Yeah. But
I've watched those episodes of the animated series. I know who that is.
For the future. Yes, those are good episodes. But no, the trailer looks really good. I'm excited for it. Negasonic Teenage Warhead is back, and that's super rad. There's a shot of Deadpool spinning around in Professor X's motorized chair, and that's great.
That was funny.
Yeah, everything looks good in this, and I can't wait. I don't know what else to say about it. I just can't wait.
I'm not a huge Deadpool fan, but I like the movies.
I love the movies. The comics are okay. I can't stand any cosplayer at a convention dressed up as a Deadpool.
Yeah,
I think that's the biggest problem for me.
That's what has shaded my image of Deadpool, unfortunately, is cosplayers being obnoxious. Because
being Deadpool at a convention is like saying, okay, I have a free ticket to be a real beehole.
Be a real knob.
Yeah, and it's funny because I'm Deadpool. Look at me being wacky and annoying. No, it's just dumb and annoying.
Yeah.
But in the movies, Ryan Reynolds was the perfect choice the first time. He's the perfect choice this time. I'm curious to see what they do with Cable.
Yeah. They're obviously playing him very straight, which is the way it's supposed to be.
Absolutely the way it's supposed to be. I think I'm curious to see how many shots they take at the Avengers films.
Yeah.
Because Josh Brolin is Thanos as well as Cable. Like, that's crazy that he is starring in 2 Marvel movies for 2 different studios.
Well, that and they can
2 roles.
They can get away with more now that Disney owns.
Well, that too. Yeah, I guess that is true. But it's that in itself is kind of fascinating. But I'm just curious to see how much of a shot they take at like other superhero films. That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why we need a Tick movie.
I agree. Have you seen the second half of the Tick series?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Is out. I keep seeing trailers for it.
Yeah, I need to watch it.
I need to sit down and watch it because they're so great. The first half of that Tick season was so good.
They did it in such a different way than I expected. That's still really funny.
It worked.
Yeah,
it absolutely worked.
They took it in like a premium, like a HBO series kind of direction, while still being very funny.
Yeah, and that's
or like AMC, like an AMC show.
Mm-hmm. And that's not a direction they've ever taken the Tick.
Yeah,
even in the comics, his outside of the original run, which only lasted like I think 11 issues, it was very episodic. And even those first couple issues, there were a lot of like one-offs within the main story arc. But yeah, this series, who knew you could tell a straight story with like one big long story with the Tick? Who would have thought? But yeah, Deadpool 2 looks really good, and I'm super, super, super excited for it. We just mentioned the Avengers movies. We should probably that's like
there was
something.
A trailer.
Yeah, there was a trailer
about
for
that trailer, and we also didn't write it on the board, but we should probably talk about it.
Yeah, that trailer was good.
Yeah, it was a really good trailer. They better not kill Doctor Strange, or I'll be very upset.
Yeah, that was a pretty good joke with Spider-Man at the end.
Yeah.
That was...
we're using our made up names. Well, then I'm Spider-Man.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, I'm glad we got a shot of Thanos in the helmet, which is something that he has been missing.
You're right.
Yeah, he had the helmet and the shoulder pads, and that was really cool.
I liked Star-Lord's little bit about the plan sucks.
Yeah.
My plan, I'll come up with a plan, and it'll be better.
Yeah, that's good. I'm really... I guess I hadn't considered the possibility of Star-Lord and Iron Man conversing at all in this film, but it's a thing that's definitely going to happen, and I'm super excited for it. So how quickly into the film do you think the Vision's going to get knocked out?
Oh, probably pretty quickly, because he's gonna.
Yeah.
Because he's got that stone in his head.
He's got the soul gem. That's right.
That's not going to be there for very long.
Plus, I'll let you in on a little comic secret, a little background, under the table comic secret. Anytime there is a huge crossover event, the Vision is always one of the first ones to get destroyed. It's almost to the point where it's a running gag because he's a robot. And at the end of the event, you just rebuild him.
Yeah.
So it's a way to get a cheap death in there that has no consequence, basically. And it seems as though it's going to happen here as well. Yeah.
Do you think any big names other than the Vision? Well, Vision's not really a big name.
Paul Bettany's a pretty big name. And I mean, Vision, he's big enough, I would say. He's been he's been a major crux of two separate Avengers-ish movies.
True. I don't know. I just don't care for him.
yeah. He's
nobody's favorite Avenger.
I agree with that.
Just like Hawkeye.
Yeah. Speaking of Hawkeye, it looked like there were some set photos that it looked like he's going to be wearing a slightly modified costume. In the comics, there for a while, Clint Barton went under the name Ronin, which was kind of a ninja-esque, like with a full face mask and stuff. The persona had been used by about 3 or 4 different characters. It's basically if you're a ninja-style character, like your Daredevils or your Hawkeyes, that needs to lay low and not be in the public eye for a bit, you use
you become Ronin.
You become Ronin, basically. And it looks almost like he's using that, which would make sense because they've established that he has like a family.
Yeah.
And of all the Avengers characters, he's probably the one that would be like, I think I'd rather not have my face out there.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good idea.
I know there was apparently a uproar that he wasn't in the trailer.
Who cares?
I know. I saw a headline like Hawkeye fans upset that I'm like, there are Hawkeye fans?
There's no Hawkeye fans.
Yeah, that's what
no,
like...
I take that back. There are Hawkeye fans, the ones that read the Matt Fraction run, because that's really good.
Yeah, well, that's an entirely different Hawkeye.
Yeah, it's true. It is. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It is. But yeah, do you think they're gonna knock out any of the main characters early in this film, or do you think they're gonna wait until Avengers 4 to take out any of the characters?
I think it'll mostly be 4. I'm sure somebody's gonna die though.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping it's not Doctor Strange. But then again, if any of them are gonna die and come back,
it's gonna be
Doctor Strange.
Very true. I am curious to see what they end up doing with the actors whose contracts are up after Avengers 4. We already know Robert Downey Jr. is done after 4.
Also, and Chris Evans recently said this is a news item
that he's done after 4. And I would almost venture a guess that Scarlett Johansson's probably going to be done after Avengers 4 as well. Oh,
probably. Hemsworth has said he'll do it. He'll keep doing it if they keep having him.
Yeah, well, Thor 3 had such a high, it was such a big turnaround for the series.
It was basically a reboot for Thor.
Practically, yeah, and you could tell he was having a blast on that set.
It was a great movie.
It was a good movie. It was a really good movie. But no, I don't see them killing off Doctor Strange because they can at least milk Ben and Jerry Cumberbatch for another.
And he's only had one movie.
Yeah, they can milk him for at least another film. Same thing with Tom Holland for Spider-Man.
Isn't that a weird thing to say? He's only had one feature film.
That is, yeah, that does feel a little weird.
But that's very much how these movies work.
Exactly, yeah. But I could see I hate to say it. I hate to say it, but because there is a huge battle sequence set in Wakanda in Avengers 3, I bet you there's going to be some named character from Black Panther that's probably going to eat it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not a good thing. Not really, especially how great Black Panther was.
And how much everybody's loved it and everybody's attached to those characters.
Yeah, that's not...
Just from the one movie.
Like, what's the over-under on Okoye?
Yeah, that's very likely.
It's very sad.
Yeah.
Because she was an excellent character.
Yeah. It's not going to be Shuri because they've obviously got plans for her.
They have plans for Shuri, sure. They Shuri do.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's right. I said it.
It's a good dad joke in there.
Yeah, hey, it's what I'm here for. I'm one of 2 dads, so yeah. No, yeah, I'm looking forward to 3. I'm looking forward to 4. Again, like I said, I'm really interested to see how they write out some of the big name characters that.
Now does Captain Marvel show up in 3 or 4?
If she shows up in 3, it's going to be an after credits, I bet.
Oh yeah, she'll definitely, because that's like the next big movie.
It's the next one, and the Captain Marvel film is set during Iron Man 2. I think it's set like chronologically back before Avengers 2. Even I think.
I thought it took place during the 90s. At least part of it, yeah.
I think at least, yeah. You know what? I think you're right. At least part of it does take place in the 90s, but I think part of it also takes place kind of throughout. I think that's the case. But yeah, I bet she's going to pop up in a post credit. You know what? Actually, here's a prediction. Chris Evans said he's done after Avengers 4. Doesn't mean that he's an active participant in Avengers 4. Could be a flashback. What if the height of this movie is Thanos just punches up Captain America into the ground, and it ends with Bucky picking up the shield.
That's very
becoming
possible.
The next Captain America. So then you have, like, I don't want to say Force Ghost or anything, but like flashbacks of Cap, or like on a, something that was recorded, like in the case of my untimely death. You have to continue to assemble Avengers because the world needs saving, and America.
There's going to be a tape like from Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah, right. Yeah, pretty. Yes. So I hear you're fighting an intergalactic warlord. Yeah. So yeah,
I can see them knocking him out early. There's precedent for them killing Captain America.
There is. There really is. Or if not, kill him off entirely. Have Thanos use like a mix of the time and soul stones to take the years back that he kind of had that extended his life. So he ends up with old man Steve Rogers, which they've also done in the comics. There for a while, he was the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. as old man Steve Rogers. And that was actually a pretty interesting run. Yeah, there's not much else because we're just wildly speculating on like
at this
everything.
Point, we're just like, Yeah.
But hey, let's wildly speculate on some other stuff. How about that Jon Favreau Star Wars, huh?
That's going to be a thing.
That is a thing.
This was on our docket for last week that we didn't get to.
Yeah, but guess what? There's actually nothing to it other than Jon Favreau has said that he's signed on for some
Star Wars TV show. That's going to be not on TV, but streaming.
Yeah. Great. Okay.
Yeah, sure. More Star Wars. I've always kind of wished there was a Star Wars TV show.
Sure. Yeah, as long as it's good.
Yeah, a weekly dose of Star Wars instead of waiting a year.
Yeah. There is literally no other news about it other than it's a thing that's happening.
I'm cool with it. Yeah, I wonder where in the timeline it'll be. Hopefully not prequel.
Yeah, well, unless they do something within the prequel era that will kind of
fix it,
right the ship a little bit. Yeah.
Post Rebels, maybe.
Yeah, maybe post Rebels.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm just wildly flailing in the wind on
again.
this.
Yeah, wild speculations. That is this show this week is wild speculations.
If you wanted to go more wild speculation, we talk about Banjo Kazooie possibly appearing in Smash Brothers.
Sure. Okay.
The Xbox PR guy, Phil Spencer, when asked if they would let Banjo be in Smash Brothers by some internet dude, he said, "Yeah, I'd love it."
Of course, they're not doing anything else with the character.
Yeah, and it's free advertising for Microsoft.
Yeah.
For a character they never use.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, that's cool. I can see all of the attacks.
Yeah, I mean they'd work really well in the game.
Sure.
I just don't see the benefit for Nintendo of having this 10-year-old character who hasn't. He's more than 10 years old, but he hasn't been relevant in 10 years.
I would rather see Ukulele.
Yeah.
Show up and it would be almost the exact same character.
Because they are.
They are. They
have a lot of the same moves.
Mm-hmm.
Ukulele's just an all right game, but
but still, it would almost be the ultimate like, hey, screw you to Microsoft saying by putting Ukulele in the game and not Banjo-Kazooie.
And it supports the Switch being such an indie games machine.
Yeah,
which it's really become.
I just had a crazy thought. What if they put Shovel Knight in Smash.
That would be rad.
That would be super
He would work really
great.
well.
Yep.
Down B could dig a hole and something could come out.
That would be cool. Oh, yeah. His over B would be the glove, the dirt punching glove.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here's something I would like to talk about for 3 minutes. Give me 3 minutes on this one, okay, Cody?
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yes, you know what I'm getting to.
All right.
Yeah, get your hand on the button. I'm going to talk about some Power Rangers. So, Boom Studios for the last couple years has been putting out this comic line for the Power Rangers series. Thank you for turning the light on.
I just turned the light on. I realized we were sitting here in the dark.
You were sitting here in the dark. Thank you. Thank you for that. And they've run through a couple of different major storylines. One of the more recent ones was one in which Zack the Black Ranger and Billy the Blue Ranger traveled into a potential future where Tommy stayed evil after the Green with Evil saga and sided with Rita and ended up conquering the Earth.
Like Green with Evil.
Yeah.
It's such a terrible name, and it's such a big point in Power Rangers.
It's a
lore.
Huge, a huge.
And such a dumb name.
It happens within the first 18 episodes of this entire series.
That's right, it does.
It happens super quick. It seems like it happens later in the series. Anyway, Tommy in the book.
It doesn't even make sense, though. Things are not green with evil. It's not.
Power Rangers. Nothing makes sense ever, forever and ever, and never makes sense. Anyway, Tommy stays evil, conquers, the Earth basically with Rita, and also manages to absorb both the Green and White Ranger energies, becoming his own special thing called Lord Draken.
And not the light Green Ranger.
And not the light Green Ranger. No, he doesn't. He doesn't become the pastoral Green Ranger. No,
the Shamrock Shake Ranger.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, that storyline was really good. Lord Draken was a really, really popular character, and Kyle Higgins, who has been the writer on the book for this entire run, is starting up his next arc, and the arc is called Shattered Grid. It's a really ambitious, really interesting storyline because the comics have all focused mainly on the original five, the original team with Jason and Trini and Zach and the rest. Billy and Kimberly. I should probably say that there's only two more. I should probably say them.
The only Power Rangers people really care about.
Well, yeah. No, yeah, I guess you're right. But this storyline is going to tie in all of the Rangers from all of the seasons, essentially, which is really interesting because after a certain point, the show stops caring about continuity. After Lost Galaxy, which was its 6th or 7th season, I think, something like that. Actually, it is the 6th or 7th, depending on whether the Alien Rangers you count as a miniseries or its own season. There's arguments, who cares? After that, it's a new Earth where the Power Rangers are brand new. There's no previous anything.
It
reboots itself every year. Yeah. And what this is going to do is it's going to tie all those, it's treating it as a multiverse kind of idea, and different Rangers from different timelines and different universes and stuff are going to start crossing over back and forth.
It's going to get real comic booky.
It's going to get incredibly comic booky, and they're all going up against the returned might of Lord Draken and his death Zords from the future. And to cap this off, to start it off, there was a 2-minute live action trailer that was written and directed by Kyle Higgins, starring Jason David Frank in a bad cosplay of Lord Draken. The character looks great on the page, but boy, oh boy, does JDF look dumpy in the trailer. But the trailer itself is actually really neat. They have him, he's looking at all these different weird mystic portals, showing real life clips from all the different seasons of Power Rangers. And you have everything all the way up through Dino Charge, one of the newest seasons. And the trailer itself is actually really neat looking. It kind of made me excited for the story arc,
which is what it's supposed to do. So it succeeded there.
It worked. The only thing is, they were trying. JDF was trying to hide that paunch, and boy, oh boy, Con Life must be treating him well.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's not looking like he could karate chop some boards while skydiving.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, the storyline actually started this past Wednesday. The first issue of it was just released. So, you can go to the comic shop and pick this up. It's, a couple bucks. If you care anything about Power Rangers, you don't have to be a super fan like me. They do a really good job explaining like storylines and stuff like that. I'd say pick it up. Might be fun. Might be fun to read. I don't know.
Read a comic.
Read a comic, everybody. Read a comic. You know what? We got one more to talk about. We're only going to talk about it for a minute because we're running short on time. But we have to mention this because we are all Toys R Us kids at heart. Unfortunately, Toys R Us is going out of business.
Is no more.
They're done.
They went from, we're going to close some stores. We're going to close all the non-U.S. stores. Mm-hmm. And now we're just going to close all the stores.
Yeah, and that's incredibly sad. I'll be honest, growing up, we didn't go to Toys R Us a ton.
Yeah, me either. But it was always a treat when you did get to go.
It was a special treat.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And as an adult toy collector, I know I would wander through every once in a while just to see what, what's in there. It's always cool.
It's still fun. It was still fun to go there. And I mean,
yeah. And I'm going to be sad to see it go.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of dedicated toy stores around these days that aren't like mom and pop style.
Or that aren't like Big Fun.
Yeah, Big Fun.
Which the main Big Fun is also closing.
That one's also closing.
But not the Columbus one. That's sticking around.
And that's cool. I'm happy for that. But yeah, it's kind of an end of an era kind of situation. And I'm feeling sad about it. I mean, I understand you can go online and like pick up anything you want from Toys R Us for cheaper,
but you at least get to see it at Toys R Us.
Yeah, you can always walk through and just kind of dream and go, man, that'd be cool to have.
And they always had exclusives too.
They did.
You would occasionally see something and be like, I didn't know that was the thing.
Yeah, that means we're probably going to see more exclusives show up in like Targets and Walmarts and
that's
like
true.
GameStops and stuff like that. And those are always real hit or miss. Because at least at Toys R Us, toys are their like main focus.
How is Toys R Us gone, but GameStop still around?
GameStop and Think Geek are the same company.
Yeah.
And Think Geek sells enough niche stuff. That's my guess. I mean,
because if you go in any GameStop nowadays, it is more of a toy store than it is a video game store.
But then again, they're always busy.
True.
Whereas Toys R Us, I mean, you pick any given day and it's usually dead in there.
Yeah. There's a lot of hardcore gamer types that seem to think that they have to buy video games there, which I never understood.
Yeah, true. But I think Toys R Us's biggest problem was it was bought out by some
horrible vulture capitalists.
Mm-hmm. They pretty much bought it, gutted it, and are just letting it
and
crumble.
Now they're getting their multi-million-dollar bonuses while the whole thing burns down around them.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of garbage.
It is. And kids are not going to have toy stores because of it.
Yeah.
And that's a real bummer.
Just so some douchey CEOs can make $1 billion.
Yeah.
And then a whole bunch of regular folks lose their job.
It's a shame.
It's like 30,000 jobs are just gone.
I know. It's a shame. But no, I mean, everyone go out there one last time and go check out a Toys R Us that's near you.
Plus,
why not?
Discounts coming.
Yeah, discounts.
Yeah,
I mean,
the saddest discount.
Yeah, I'll have a single tear in my eye when I buy my cheap Legos.
I've heard rumor that they're talking about bringing KB Toys back, though.
Seriously?
Yeah, like a phoenix from the ashes of Toys R Us.
Wow, they can put her in right next to the Suncoast video.
Yeah. I miss Suncoast.
I do too. Yeah,
I like that store.
Me too. All right, well, hey, we've actually hit time, so let's go ahead and wrap things up. You've been listening to Nerd Overload. Thank you very much for tuning in. You can find us each and every day over at nerdoverload.com.
Oh, geez, how are we going to do this? You can also follow us on all kinds of social medias. Nerd Overload Now on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
And Twitch.
Yep.
You can also email the show, staff@nerdoverload.com. We're always interested in taking listener suggestions for topics, answer any questions. I think in the entire time we've run this show, I think we've had like 2 questions asked for the show, if that. I would love to have a question segment.
Yeah, that would be rad.
Pretty please for me.
Do you need advice on your life?
Yeah.
Maybe we could help you out.
If you love me or have ever loved me, please send us an email at staff@nerdoverload.com. We'll answer your question. It'll be anything. We'll answer anything. Why not?
Don't know what to do about that guy that sits next to you at work and chews too loud?
Ask us. We might have an answer.
And we are also on YouTube, Nerd Overload TV on YouTube.
That's right. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and just about anywhere else a podcast can be found. You can find our podcast. And don't forget, we're also on WZMOFM.com. We don't mention that very often, but that is a place that we are aired live-ish on Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 9 p.m. So check us out over there if you want to get it before it goes online everywhere else. So anyway, thank you again for listening to the show, and we will be back next week.
Pizza out.
This show was sponsored in part by MB Subculture Comics and Costumes.